Recorded.
It's April 3rd, Land Use Room, CPC meeting. This is being recorded.
Okay. As you know, the town clerk had asked us to revote on the vice chair position because we had a tie vote and we didn't have a majority. We don't have a majority tonight. We don't have every member tonight. So I'm going to delete that off of the agenda. And insofar as we're going to be close to annual town meeting and town election, we might as well just postpone this till we reorganize the board probably in June.
Do we need to vote on that?
And,
Do we need to vote on that?
is there any objections? Or do you want to vote on that?
I mean, it follows what we've done the rest, the other meetings, so
Yeah.
I don't have an objection.
I don't have a problem with that.
Okay, good. So you don't need to put that on. I don't think we're going to have a meeting in May. We may. Okay. All right, we need to do the warrant articles for, and I'm going to, let's see, we've got the Playscape, which you should have a article here. See if the town will vote to appropriate and transfer a sum of $140,000 from the FY 2020 Community Preservation Open Space Fund towards the restoration of a current powder mill playground. And so forth. I won't read the whole article. Take a motion to approve this for the warrant article for the town meeting.
Make the motion.
I'll second.
Second, great. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Okay, pass unanimously. Okay, let's take the, we don't know what the article number is, and then it's the, is this the right one? No, not this is the, okay. So Community Preservation Committee, on the TM warrant article, the old cemetery headstone restoration. That's to see if the town will vote and authorize community preservation, transfer $40,000 from the Community Preservation Historical Fund for the Southwick Historic, from the House, Southwick Historical Society to restore restoration and preservation of headstones and any other action relative thereto. Is that?
That's not correct. We're not, the Southwick Historical Society is not doing this, anything to do with this
Okay,
warrant article. It's the House Southwick Historical Commission had to make the vote to accept, to approve the application to the CPC, but the society has nothing to do with this particular action.
okay. So
So
do
we
you have
need to
that
change the
correct?
wording around somewhere there.
So how do you want me to word it? The Community Preservation Historical Fund for the Southwick Historical Commission. How do you want me
Yeah.
to word it from there? To restore, just change?
Or should it just say from?
Change society to commission, I think
Okay,
that should take
and
care
then
of
that
it.
should be good? Okay, I'll change that.
And, okay, I think it limits it because it's $40,000 to do the preservation of the headstones. It does say take any other action relative thereto. Should we be more specific, as Gene was in his proposal, in his ask, where he's actually showing a 2-day workshop for cemetery workers and remaining 5,000 purchase equipment, tools, et cetera? Should we put that in there like that, or is that gonna be encompassed by
I believe that covers it.
any other action relative to?
Does that would entail the whole service of doing the job?
And this is just for 2 years, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
is a 2-year program. The bulk of the funds will be expended in the first year, because they have to buy some equipment and materials. And then so the second year won't have as much of an expense, but the 40,000 is to cover it for the 2-year period.
Okay. Can I have a motion to approve the warrant article for the cemetery as amended?
So motion.
Second?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Passed unanimously. Okay. All right. This is the McLaughlin property that we voted to, I think, just to refresh everybody's memory, we had a very unusual situation occur with respect to the way the law is written for the APRs. The APR valuation, because it went past a year, increased significantly, and with a direct comparison from a piece of property that was literally next door to the McLaughlin property. So it's about a $230,000 difference. I've been on the phone with Ron Hall, who was here last time with Gene Thoreau, and also Barbara Hobson, who came in and to discuss this situation with us. And they have gone to the federal agency to try to see if there's any additional funding that they can get from them. That has not matriculated as yet. If you recall, Ben Quayle last week said to increase an article on the floor is problematical. Decreasing an article on the floor is not. So I'd like to suggest to the committee that we change the 115 now, and before it hits the town meeting, to 230, in case that Barbara is not successful in getting money from the federal funding. So to bring it up on the floor for discussion, I need a motion to consider that. Nobody wants to consider this article?
So if we give him the 230 and then he's able to get other funding, are we still committed to the
No.
230?
No, we would
How do
know.
we amend that?
We would amend it on the floor. I'm thinking that Barbara will know by the time we have our town meeting. It's another 5 weeks away. Gives her 5 weeks.
So what would happen if we don't vote to amend this to 230 and he doesn't get his funding? What happens?
I don't know that he would take the 115 that we approved.
So then it would go,
'Cause
he would
he was-
have to, I think, rescind whatever he's filed.
Yeah,
and
he has-
wait the
has-
6 years that they were talking
It
about?
depends if he wants to find other sources for the money. It doesn't have to come from here. So the 115 that he gets from here, that's 115 from here. He could get that matching from somewhere else, whether he wants to put it in personally or get it from other sources, or a loan, or whatever he wants to do.
He really has.
So he could potentially mortgage for $115,000 of his own against the property,
I believe
presuming
so.
it would, the bank would be willing to lend it and come up with 115 that way.
Right, it just has to be 10% from the source for the state to get the match. I believe, pretty sure that's what it is.
So back to your question. Yeah, from my conversations with Tom, the first choice, if he wanted to participate in this program, is he would decline, and there's what they call a 3-year cooling off period. So nothing happens for 3 years. And then to affect the process, it's about a 3-year process. So you're looking at about 6 years to redo this at this juncture for him. And I got the sense that he might consider actually just developing the property. So we take a chance by not changing the amount. And if we don't get the monies from the feds, we take a chance on losing the agricultural property. So I thought to hedge that bet, we would consider putting the article in at 230,000, and it would all come out of the town, should the feds not come up to it.
do we have the 230,000 to make available?
And we will after we get the 350. I think.
350, which would come through and,
Yeah, that's,
No, it's 44,500. Is that going back in? Because that was from last year.
well,
It
that's,
was approved.
that's in, yeah, I mean, that's a commitment that was made last year.
and then
So
we
is
did,
this 115 on top of that 44?
Correct. That's the way I read it. This is a whole separate article.
Okay, so it's not, 230 was the total, so it's 230 minus the 44,500, then there's 115, so it's not a remaining 115 then.
Well, the 44.5 is 10% of the 450, or 445,000 for the whole project. The actual APR is, I believe, 445,000.
Okay,
So 10% our share of that 445,000 would come from, would be 44,500. Now the disparity is 230,000 in the appraisal. So,
so they want us to come up with the full $230,000 on top
Well,
of that.
my sense is we take a chance of losing the APR if we don't do that. If the feds don't come in, I don't think I wouldn't take the loss of 115,000. I might like to develop it, but I'd probably sell it to a developer. So that's the danger, is that you lose the property, or you lose the agricultural property.
but the property is still under private ownership. So the only thing that would be preserved is the view. It wouldn't be open to the public to be utilized for recreational purposes.
Correct. It's an agricultural protection restriction,
Right.
so that the land can never be used for anything else other than agriculture.
Right.
It can be sold by the owner,
Right.
but it has to be sold as agricultural property.
So what we thought we were getting for 44,500 is now gonna cost
270.
270 plus.
Right. That was my first reaction as well, you know? What are you doing coming back to us? We didn't write the law, and you're telling us our end is 10,000, and now you're telling us our end is 230 because of the way that the program is run.
275.
Yeah.
It's a big jump.
Yeah.
It is a big jump.
That's hard to say.
And I think it's worth restating that this was not generated by the owner,
No.
you know? This was generated by the law itself, the agricultural, the APR law.
The request for it was generated by the owner, for the APR, for the APR.
Oh, originally.
Yes, okay.
Right, but this reappraisal
Mhm.
is totally generated by the Department of Agriculture here,
Right,
as
by state law, yeah.
I say, well, I think state, federal, whatever law.
So in another 3 years, when he comes back, it could be even more.
It could be more, but our end would be less, because if he went through and got another, let's say it was $1.2 million, it would cost us $120,000. It would cost us 10% if the APR was approved in 6 years.
But not 270.
I'm sorry?
But not the 270.
Not the 270, right?
The question is, if he is looking at developing it, what would the time frame be that he would?
Well, I think it's the 6 years, and he said, and it kind of surprised me because he said, you know, and again, in a private conversation, that I said, well, you know, it depends. You want to wait the 6 years? And he said, well, Maybe I don't wait 6 years. Maybe I follow in the steps of my neighbor and just sell it. Not that I want to sell it, but
But I would also ask the question if, with all the development that's going on in town now, are there developers that are knocking down his door to get it between Greens and Noble Steed? And he said right next door to him was sold.
Mhm.
There's
Like
only
the-
so many houses that people can build and people want to buy. So what?
I'd feel much more comfortable if he were putting more of his, I guess, own skin into it, rather than us coming up with a full 230.
yeah, I generated this agenda item tonight, Dave, because, you know, the sense I got when I talked to Barbara and Ron was, we don't know when we're gonna hear, and we're not sure it's gonna happen. And Barbara had sent me a list of other places she had applied, and when Ron was here, he said, cross those off, you know, we're not gonna be able to get any money out of them.
Yeah.
So, that's my sense. And agriculture, protect agricultural land is a focus, so.
Yeah, I don't know how leveraged he is, whether he can continue to use the property for additional leverage or not. And I hate to see, I'm having a little angst thinking, you know, that we're getting leverage for the additional 115.
I felt the same way when Barbara called me and said, would you like to come up with another 230,000? I'm like, we didn't do anything wrong, we played by the rules in this program. But I just have a sense that it may get taken out of the APR, and I'm like, okay, so.
Just from conservation standpoint, if the land did get developed next door, it doesn't have much connectivity to any other open areas as far as wildlife habitat or anything else like that. So as far as conservation value, there's not a lot from open space. However, you know, I do see the benefit of keeping agriculture in town. That's part of what I want to see happen. But it's a lot of money for one spot.
Yeah, it's another, roughly $4,000 per acre on top of the other funds that are coming forward, and that's for farmland. It's a lot of money for farmland, 4,000 an acre, additional especially.
You know, if the board's pleasure is to not consider this, then. No? Okay, moving on.
So is there no motion or?
No, there is no motion. So no action, you just say no action taken.
So we're gonna keep it 115.
Correct. Okay, so
I'll make
there's,
a motion to have the article stand as is, I guess.
Okay.
Make a motion on the
There you
article,
go.
right?
No,
Second that.
okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. So let's take. What do I do with my agenda? I don't think there was- Oh, yeah, okay. So. These are the only two housekeeping articles, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so Article 15 and Article 17 are housekeeping articles. It keeps the, it discusses the split based on our projections that we receive from the state on the various community preservation fund accounts, and what the state matches is anticipated. And it also keeps our administrative budget to 4%, which is the maximum we can have. So can I have a motion to approve these articles?
I'll make a
Some-
motion.
A second.
Second, okay. Any discussion? All right, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstentions? Okay, passed unanimously. Okay. Minutes of March 18th.
Jeannie.
Remember June?
Carol wasn't here. Her husband was. My neighbor.
Yeah. Syntax island, I'll sit back on the right side now.
Jeannie, Mr. Brown, shit, that's very hard.
No.
You got a better number than I do.
Not by much, huh? Yeah, that
I
wasn't
remember who
Carol,
said-
that was Jean.
Okay. Oh, just over here, I'm sorry.
I've got a couple grammatical, I'm not sure.
Really?
Chris Pratt would probably be the best
Yeah.
judge
Chris,
on
help
this.
me out here.
Whether to use affected or effected.
I tried to do the thesaurus. I'm like,
I think
okay,
it's-
it could go either way.
I think it's affected on
Is
the
it?
front page, the first page.
Yep,
After Mr. Gunn interjected that the historical and housing portion will not be affected. And then the next sentence, or following sentence after that is, Mr. Pratt mentioned the state's matching funds will not be. And I thought affected would be appropriate there.
okay.
And then on the page 3, near the bottom of the page where a motion was made by Mrs. Fox for the $40,000 and seconded by Mr. Wally. Mr. Horacek recused himself because his wife is on the cemetery commission, not the
Oh,
historical.
you're right. Yep.
That's all I have.
I guess I didn't do
That's the
that
best
then.
that's the best I could do.
Good job. I ran right over that
What
cemetery
page did you see
commission.
affected? Because I remembered,
Both, all on page 1.
Oh, it was all on
Both of them
page one?
1, yep.
I crossed around over by South Downs.
Is she the bus driver?
She was the one that put on that first weekend from the beginning. It wasn't Carol Gray. It was Jean, but I can't remember Jean's last name.
so A.
Carol wasn't here. Dana was.
Yeah, it's twice on that
Yep.
page.
My neighbor. I didn't know Carol was. That was Jean.
So tell Cindy.
I'm having a brain fart. I can't remember her last name.
Who?
Well, on the first page here where it talks about Carol Gway at 173 Mort Viney Road, that wasn't Carol, that was Jean. But I'm having a brain fart, I can't remember Jean's last name, she's my neighbor.
Oh, because I was looking, I couldn't understand what she was saying on the
Yeah.
recorder.
Carol,
But I looked
Carol
on
wasn't
here.
Dana was here.
But that's what was signed on the sign-in sheet. That's why I,
But it was Jean that stood up front and had that big discussion in the beginning.
All right, so I need to change that name? Or,
You're talking about Gene Riopel.
Thank you.
okay, who
My
is
brain
it?
fart has been subsided.
So take Carol Way out,
Excuse me,
put
folks.
Jean.
Where was,
Right here. This was all.
What's the last name?
Yeah, what's the last name?
Riopel, don't ask me how to spell it.
R-
Oh, you probably know that.
R-E-O-P-E-L.
R-E-O-P-E-L? Okay.
J-E-N.
One L? One L?
One L.
Okay.
Carol's very soft spoken.
Thanks, Karen.
Talk like that.
J.
All right, I'll make sure I make those changes.
Make sure it doesn't make the paper, Greg. We'll mention about that, okay?
I'll make sure that
Thanks, buddy.
no fart words.
She said Mort Vining, and I looked on the list, on the sign-in list, and that's the only one that was on Mort Vining, that's why.
Yeah, I've been smoke finding it. It's up
It's right across from
behind,
Sofinowski's.
Up the street and then to the left behind Big Lots.
Yes.
Where Beers
Yep.
off. Yeah.
Okay. Any other corrections on the minutes?
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes as amended.
I'll second.
Okay, all those in favor? Or
Aye.
any other discussion? No, he's all right. Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Passed unanimously. Okay, Community Preservation Coalition Program. We have a bill for $1,780, I think.
1750, yeah.
$1,750. Can anybody shed on any light as to what we're getting for that $1,750?
Yeah, they
It's
fight at the State House for extra funding throughout the course of the year. Every year, we've received extra money on top of the percentage that we get.
Is that where that second and third round come from?
And yes, and also, they give us a lot of advice on how we can utilize our money. So they're a great source of wealth of information when we need it. And I've spoken with Stuart several times, and he's always gotten right back. You know, it's through emails and telephone calls and things like that, so it's not like they're unresponsive. They do respond in short order.
I believe we used it last year when we were talking about the dredging of the canal there.
Mhm.
You know, we were asking for some clarification on rehabilitation versus maintenance.
Right.
So they helped us out there.
Okay, okay. Can I have a motion to approve that bill?
I'll make a motion to approve the expense of joining the coalition.
I'll second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions, none. 600 passed unanimously. So you can, we're gonna need to sign something for you on that, Sid. Okay.
Well, this is what I got for it.
Okay, so. Thanks, Sid. Okay. Dave, you want to talk about meeting protocols?
Yes, the only reason I bring this up is because at the end of last week's, our last meeting on March 18th, after the votes were taken, the meeting just dissipated. It just fell apart. There wasn't, we didn't maintain a force up here with which to act on any additional issues. There was no formal adjournment to the meeting. It seemed like everybody just got up and left and mingled with the crowd. And I thought at that time there was still a couple things on the agenda that I wouldn't have minded having heard, or at least talked about whether to table them or not. And there was nothing
Right.
at that point. It just fell apart. And I felt it was short of us to, it was a disservice to this board to not see the meeting through to a formal end.
I would agree.
So I would encourage our members, regardless of what happens out in the audience with respect to it, that we still maintain our objective of having a full and complete meeting.
I agree.
I thought the meeting was over. I thought we agreed to adjourn.
I think one of the reasons was because we're such a long board, and I think I was talking this way about a motion to adjourn, you know, maybe people on that end of the table didn't hear. And then we had one member who got up right after the other votes and left. So we just need to pay attention to that. I agree with Dave. Any other discussion on that? Okay. All right. Next meeting?
applications coming in, or?
I don't think so. Sid, you don't have anything?
I haven't heard anything other
No.
than the one that Dave just gave me.
We can't, I mean, even if we heard anything, it wouldn't get on this town warrant
Right,
anyway.
Right, the only reason I brought up McLaughlin was because there was a chance, we could change the article. So it's gonna have to be at least after the town meeting, which I think is the 21st. And we normally meet on the the third Wednesday, so I would push it till June 19th. And we can always have one earlier if we have to for any reason. But again, like to your point, it's not gonna make it a warrant article anyway, so,
We're the third Wednesday of the month.
Right.
That's automatically reserved for this room.
right,
So it would be the third week in June then?
right.
Okay.
Any objections? No? Okay. 7 o'clock, all right for everybody? All right, good. Motion to adjourn.
Point of order, point of order if I may.
Sure?
I see we have a lot of people out here tonight, and we didn't have a public comments section in the beginning of the meeting. I'd like to make a motion to allow the public to take a few minutes of our meeting time tonight.
Sure. State your name and your address,
Michelle
please.
Pratt, 152 Berkshire Ave. I just wanted to say congratulations, Southwick. We made history last week with our North Pond purchase. Agenda item number 1 should have been a celebration. Congratulations. So I hope that it was a very educational meeting last week, an eye-opening meeting for the CPC. I know the voters of the community have their eyes wide open now. And I think that we were all really shocked on Monday night when this committee voted not to bring the bonding issue up at the town special. The town special was for North Pond. Didn't get brought up. Didn't get brought up. We couldn't have been more clear about the passion for this project. It's like you forgot that you represent us. You represent us and our tax money, okay? We weren't asking you to give us the money. We were merely asking for you to let us vote on it. Very simple. You denied us that opportunity. It really left us all wondering why. I couldn't figure it out. Why? This room was full of people. You saw t-shirts, you saw fundraising, you saw signs out in the center of town for months, for years. But no, we didn't get a chance. The only thing we could figure is it's got to be the price tag of the property. That's all we ever heard about negative. It's got to be the price tag. So really, if you're up in this committee and you're thinking only about money, and you didn't understand that this project was a forever project for our environment and for the recreational use of this town, then I think you should seriously consider what you're doing on this committee, okay? And having said that, I'm just not sure that everybody knows, Bob, about the phone call the day after the town special. I know you expected I'd bring it up, I'm sure. I want to make sure everyone knows that on top of the purchase price for this property, this $5 million, Bob approached me about the town spending another $1 million out of our tax-paying money for the CPC. I don't know if you guys all know that or not. He wanted to buy out the state. The state's given $600,000 for our conservation restriction and another $400,000 land grant. He wanted to spend another $1 million of our tax money to buy out the state. And why? So in the future, we could maybe build softball fields or a band shell over there. Isn't that why we have Wally Park? I don't know if you've never been over there, Bob. That's why we have Wally Park, okay? We all spoke very clearly. People in the town voted that night to say, don't touch it, preserve it, protect it. That's what you guys are supposed to be doing for us. But you thought maybe in the future we should doze it out and start building stuff over there? Heck no. It's 100% against what this is all about. 100% against it. Your actions over all of these votes have told us you don't get it. It's what I said to you on the phone. You don't get the very essence of the CPC. Don't think you belong on it. You definitely don't belong on it as chair. And it's my true hope tonight, and a lot of hope of the people of this town, that you'll do the right thing and please resign.
Any other comments? Any other comments? Okay, thank you all for coming. Motion to adj-
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second that.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.